hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started so that we have plenty of time to hear our speaker as well as participate in this interactive educational experience. So we're warm up. So today's topic is yoga for your mental health, and as I've been putting plugs in, we're going to have a little bit more of a focus this spring on just how do we support our mental health. It's very important. So a lot of our sessions are going to have that focus from some angle or another. And so yoga, many times, especially people who haven't been involved in yoga, if you haven't, sometimes people think, well, that's kind of a circle crowd, and you got to be real flexible or whatever. But anyone really can do yoga. And we've asked Racheal, who's speaking to the World Wellness member and two-time graduate of UNA, and yoga instructor for the one. Also, she's a yoga instructor for us through World Wellness, but also
at the
SRC.
And the SRC,
Yeah. So she teaches yoga and bar. As well. Really. But today we're going to focus on yoga, and we specifically asked her to do chair yoga because that's a thing as well. So we didn't have to worry about mats and things like that. But we're doing it this way because just to show you that these are things, the moves that she's going to demonstrate are things that you could do in your office, provided that you don't have rolling or a rolling chair. Leave your bed stationary. But if you need to just take, a moment to regroup and recharge, yoga is a great way to do that. So, without any more talk about that, I'm going to let our expert do that. We also have the Teams audience. Hello to y'all, and they'll be able to tell us for sure, can you do this at your desk? Because they're all sitting at their desk right now. So, we want to hear feedback from y'all in the chat. So go ahead and put RFW, of course, and make sure y'all sign in. We also have today. So if you haven't registered yet for the February Wellness Wednesdays, please do. And I'm going to plug in for the February 11th cooking demo. That will be from the team building. Gotta come and see that space. So, and of course, Dr. Renfro will be doing that. We've got a great plan. So, y'all get registered. All right. I think that's all I have initially, and turn it over to you, Racheal.
Okay. Hi, my name is Racheal. I got both of my degrees in exercise science from UNA, undergrad and grad, and I'm a certified yoga and bar Pilates instructor. I got my general certification through the Y, but then they allowed me to go and do some specialized things. So I have taught bar and yoga, which is bar just like a faster Pilates. You're more standing than you are seated on the mat. But I've been doing both of those for about the last 3 years. And I do bar on Mondays for Roar for Wellness, just a little quick 30 minutes. And then I do a longer session at the YMCA on Tuesday nights. And then I do yoga on, used to be Fridays, now it's on Wednesday nights, and that's for a full hour. So these are hopefully just going to be quick 15, 20 minutes that you can do at your desk. But let's get into the rest of the slide. Click myself over. Do I need the clicker for the big screen? Okay, so movement, breath, and mindfulness. Movement refers to the physical postures that you hold yourself in yoga. Breath is really important, and it seems very simple, but as we get into later, breath is a key part of yoga. And the mindfulness is just kind of drawing attention to aspects of yourself, aspects of your body that kind of take you out of your thoughts and put you into yourself. So yoga is a mind-body practice to unite your mind, body, and spirit. And this unity is achieved through physical postures, breathing techniques, and meditation. So there is a special way to breathe with yoga, but you can improve your flexibility, your endurance, and your mental well-being. And this can be just a fitness regimen. This can be something that you consider spiritual or philosophical if you want to, but that's only if you have that desire for yourself to experience it that way. It's not required. And these are just our topics we're going to cover. Why does it matter? The physical and psychological benefits, the overall health benefits, mental health benefits, and some barriers and misconceptions that some people have about yoga, and I myself used to have. But let's see. Oop, make sure I get myself. All right, so yoga originates in India, but it has been very westernized. So there's a lot of deviations. When yoga originated in India, it was a very spiritual and philosophical experience that you went through. But today, it's only that way if you want it to be. If you want to take it to that extra level, that's your choice. But with different yoga instructors, they all have different moods. And so I try to teach mine from more of a clinical standpoint versus a solely spiritual standpoint. It became popular in the 1940s and 60s out in California, since has made its way across. And why does it matter is because 2 out of 3 employees nationwide are experiencing symptoms of burnout. So I know that I'm feeling this myself after our Christmas break that we had, and then we had time off for the ice storm. So I do feel refreshed, but still experiencing some burnout just from the strict flow that you have to go at work. It's very regimented in my office, and we have high flex times, we have low times. So right now we're kind of finishing out our flex time, so everything's a little harder to get through during the day, but yoga helps me get through it. So rising stress levels is another reason why yoga matters. 49% of adults experience daily stress. That's not just work stress. That's maybe you're caretaking for a parent or your children. Just daily stress of the economy, bills, everything's getting really expensive. So this helps you to kind of manage that stress and to be able to control it and work with it in a more productive way than just I'll just try to get through it and then move on to the next. Yoga kind of gives you a plan for it. And also because 1 in 5 adults in the US are living with a mental health condition of some kind. And yoga is not a treatment alternative, but it's a very good supplement for mental health treatment. Make sure I didn't miss anything. So, with everyone feeling the strain, it's just really nice to have an outlet to be able to let go of that stress, to give yourself permission to just slow down and just be with yourself when so much of our day is spent running from one thing to another. We're connected to technology a lot, so there's not a lot of space between ourselves and the outside world anymore. So, yoga is a nice way to just kind of break that for just a few minutes a day. The next. All right, so this is the kind of the science behind why yoga works. So yoga has a big influence on your vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it's the primary pathway for your rest and digest. So this is to aid in recovery, cellular repair. It can affect your blood pressure and your heart rate. And so the vagus nerve acts as kind of like a brake on your heart rate. And with that, we're able to measure our heart rate variability. So this could be high or low. High is generally what you will see with people who can manage their stress very well, have a lot more resilience. And it's just the variation between your heartbeats. So as you inhale, your heart rate increases as you breathe in, and as you exhale, your heart rate slows. And that gives you your HRV. And there are several apps out there that can help you to track that. I myself use one on my watch because my stress can present itself as very subconscious. I don't feel stressed, but there's an undercurrent of stress in me. And so by using an app that can measure my HRV, that helps me realize, oh, I've been holding my breath for a really long time. Maybe I'm stressed. And then I can just take some controlled breaths and I bring it back down. And let's go to the next. So breathing techniques. This is the start of every yoga class generally. They'll go through something called grounding. And it's just kind of bringing you down to earth, feeling yourself in the seat, feeling how you breathe. Because we breathe every day, it's not something that we're very aware of all the time. So by bringing awareness to it, it kind of blocks out everything else. So this is the most direct method for stimulating your vagus nerve. So extended exhales, which again, remember that brings your heart rate down. that can trigger baroreceptors that then signal your brainstem to increase parasympathetic outflow, which is the rest and digest. So it can be very interesting to look at the science side of it, but you're really just breathing. It's just something very simple, very natural. So I've even been in classes where we hum or we buzz during our exhales. You make a little noise as you exhale. And that also has been shown to reduce your stress hormones. So it lowers your cortisol just by making that little sound. And you can see here in the picture, hand on the belly, that's also very common. Most of the time I'll start my class and you're laying down flat on a mat. And you have your hands on your ribs or just hands on your belly, wherever's natural. And as you breathe in, I tell you to focus on feeling your abdomen rise and fall. And you do that for a few breaths. And so that kind of narrows your attention away from any stress and anxiety or busy thoughts to this is what I feel. And then that breathing then triggers your parasympathetic outflow, and that lowers your heart rate, lowers your stress levels. And then we move from that to, you imagine holding that air in your chest and you feel your chest rise and fall. And then from there, it just kind of flows down into the rest of the class. And it's a really nice way to start out instead of just being, okay, now we're going to stretch. You have to stop right now and transition into this. It's just a nice way to begin the class. And it's just breathing. It's nothing extreme, nothing that not everyone can do. So on to the next. So you move from the grounding, from the breath work to the physical postures. So there are specific movements that we will do in a class that reduce your cortisol levels, and then they can also increase your recovery capacity. So you recover a little bit faster after exercise, take a walk around campus after doing yoga just 2 to 5 times, then you'll be able to catch your breath a little bit easier. When you get down to your desk, you're not red-faced, huffing and puffing like I am, and so you can just sit and relax and you start to recover a lot faster. So the inversions are really fun. Inversions are to stimulate your baroreceptors. So it promotes your venous returns. It makes your blood flow back a little faster. And by connecting it to your breath, that again triggers your vagus nerve and lowers your heart rate and your blood pressure. So it sounds intimidating, legs up the wall, but all we really have anyone do in class is you would just sit with your back to the wall here, and then you just turn to face, lay down on your back, and then you literally just legs up the wall. And I have people stay in meditation for 15 minutes with their legs up the wall, and they say that that's the only way that they can really sink down into meditation. But it's because of the vagal responses that you get that you are able to sink deeper into your meditation. Forward folds can be seated or standing. We'll do a little bit of standing today, but this just gives a little abdominal compression. So when you come into your fold, you're thinking about having really soft knees. You want to support your upper body, but with thinking of you're supporting your upper body, you don't have to have your legs locked out. That gives you that little bit of pressure. And that also can stimulate the vagal afferents from your digestive organs. So it can even improve digestion, not just mental health. Some research has suggested that these poses promote introspection and calm states while reducing sympathetic arousal. So something about the fold tricks your brain into thinking, I'm safe, I'm calm, I'm here. And then especially the restorative poses. Those I have felt it myself with child's pose, like the picture on the screen, and also corpse pose, which is literally just laying flat on the ground for extended amounts of time. But you have your hands out to either side or you have them across your chest. So that's why they call it corpse pose. Most of these poses are held with support. So that can be a block or straps. We have things called bolsters, which are just really big, thick pillows. And there's also blankets that people will use. So you basically just get into the most comfortable position you can. And then you come back to focusing on that breath. You hold the pose. You just kind of let your mind go free. But these facilitate the deep relaxation and parasympathetic dominance. So when we come into a yoga class, especially if you haven't ever done one before, it can be a little nerve-wracking. You don't really know what to expect. You don't know how out there the instructor might get or if it's going to be what you really need. So holding these poses like this stimulates your body to relax, to be calm, And that way you can flow into the very last aspect of a yoga class, which is meditation. This is emotional regulation and social connectedness. So you're all breathing together. You might be led through a different vision, kind of like people would describe. Imagine a body of water, imagine a meadow, imagine a forest. So you're kind of led through as a group this feeling and this image to help you relax. But both of those are linked to the ventral vagal complex, which are the pathways associated with feelings of safety. And the meditative components contribute significantly to the vagal tone enhancement. And this is through attention regulation, which is where we'll go back through the breathing in a class. And once your breathing is calm and your mind is a little distracted and you feel more in your body, then a yoga instructor might go through relax your toes, relax your fingers. So you're shifting your awareness not to what is everyone else in the room doing? Am I doing this right? To these are my fingers and I need to relax. These are my toes and I need to relax. Things like that. And that way that just keeps you in the moment, in the present, and you're not worried about anything else that you have to do for the rest of the day. It's just 10 minutes for you, which most of us don't get based on how busy our lives are. Whether you have husbands, children, grandkids, pets, you just always have someone or something around you. So it's nice to have that time to just relax and be, no to-do list, no one calling your name, no one needing you. You can just be there. But on to the health benefits. So there are 4 major health benefits that come associated with yoga. This is cardiovascular, mental, immune, and digestive. We talked about the gentle compression on your abdomen, and that can improve your digestive tract and your gut health. And all of this is linked to that vagal tone, to the HRV, to that cranial nerve. All of these things interconnect to that one place. So higher vagal tone correlates to reduced cardiovascular disease, lower blood pressure, and then, of course, the improved recovery that we've been talking about. But vagal tone improvements can also affect your mental health. So you have a reduction in anxiety, depression, stress-related disorders, and it just helps you manage them a little bit better. So your body has a little more resilience because it knows how to act when you feel that stress. So you feel the stress rise, but you've been doing yoga, so you know, oh, I just need to take a slower breath out than I do in. And within just 5 and 10 minutes, your body already feels a lot calmer. So you can kind of work with your body by understanding how things correlate to each other, and then you just make it work for you. But the immune health, so enhanced vagal tone can decrease the inflammation in your body. That is one that some studies are starting to come out on, but it's not had a lot of support. So that's something new, but just something to see if you notice it within yourself. And then lastly, types of yoga. So you may, if you go looking for a class, you may see it advertised as Hatha, Vinyasa, Yin, Restorative, Power. But if you've never done yoga, you have no clue what any of that means. So it's really about what you're looking for in a class to determine which of these would work best for you. I generally teach Hatha, Yin, and Restorative. So those are all about slow holding poses. In my Friday night class, I joke that we mostly just roll around on the floor for an hour and we don't really get up off of the mat, but it's because it's a Friday class. So you want it to be relaxing. It's at the end of the week. It's very beginner friendly, and that just flowed naturally with the rest of the schedule. But it was great for me starting out because I was also a beginner. So even doing it for 3 years, I still am learning new things with it, which is great. It's always different. Every class, every group that comes into your class is different personalities. But if you're looking for something that is more of a fitness regimen versus the mental health, you might like the power. And that is a lot of up and down. It's a lot of flows. We call them sun salutations. So it's a lot of those, and you're holding poses like you're holding a wide squat, but we'll call it something different. You're holding a narrow regular squat, but we call it something else. So if you're looking for more of that endurance in your muscles and that toning, that's where you want to go. But if you're looking for support, if you're new and you think I need extra blocks and straps and things like that, and I'll incorporate those sometimes, but for if your body is very tight and your muscles are not relaxed, or you just need to work on your flexibility, those style classes are great for that because of all the props that you get to use to help you out. And then vinyasa, that one's also a bit more continuous and flowy. So it's a lot of up and down. You're really not still very much in those classes. It feels like as soon as you find a pose that your instructor calls out and you hold it for just a breath, then they're ready to move on to the next thing. Whereas with the hatha and the restorative and the yin, those are, you're going to hold it for at least 30 seconds before we move on. So you have time to settle in and get comfortable. But let's see, make sure I'm not skipping anything. All right. Yes.
Hot yoga, does that fall under like a power?
Yes. Yeah. Hot yoga is fun, and that one is for if you want it to be more of a kind of like a Pilates style where you're getting a little sweaty and you feel like you've worked your muscles a bit versus just stretching them out. So both are good. I don't know where hot yoga is specifically, but there are several yoga houses around town if you wanted to go try one of those out. And finally, barriers and misconceptions. There are a lot of misconceptions that people have about yoga just because of where it originated. But now it's westernized, so it's a lot different than it was in its original form. But first one is that you have to be flexible to even go. Completely false. Yoga adapts to your body, not the other way around. So if you're in a class and something doesn't feel right to you, if a pose causes you any kind of pain or makes you uncomfortable, you can always adapt it. You can always change it. You can always make it different. Something I like to start out my class with every time is if something doesn't feel right to you, don't do it because you know your body better than me. So if you wanted to just come into that child's pose or the corpse pose that we've talked about before, you'll always meet back up with the rest of the class at some point. So it's really just you make it your own, you make it work for you. It's just stretching, as we've discussed, it's neurological. So a lot of it is strength, balance, breath work, meditation, nervous system regulation. It can directly affect your brain chemistry. So just a 1 hour class and you can lower your cortisol levels. You can increase your vagal tone, as we've discussed as well. But yoga is about building mind body awareness. So sometimes, especially with different mental health disorders, the first one that comes to my head is body dysmorphia. So that's where when you look in the mirror, you look a different size than you actually are to yourself. And it can be very concerning to people who experience it. So this is where it comes in for the mental health, where you're feeling your abdomen rise and fall. You're feeling your body. You're focusing on my arm is here, my arm is here. So that mind body connect can actually help to alleviate some of that distress that comes with that mental health disorder in particular. It's spiritual and religious. That's what I've got a lot of questions about from the Y, because the YMCA is a Christian organization. So there are some participants that come in and they think that it's going to be something that they might not be very comfortable with. But it's only as spiritual as you want it to be. If you want to use that time during meditation, during the whole class, to pray or to just not think about anything at all, you can do that. Nothing in a yoga class is ever required. So in clinical and therapeutic settings, like how I view my classes, I'd teach it as a somatic practice, behavioral intervention, and just keeping it mindfulness based. So that way it's more of a disconnect from the modern world, not so much connection to something that you might not be comfortable with. Let's see. That was all I had up there, but I did have some extra notes. A lot of people think you need a lot of time to benefit from it, where you have to go to years and years and years for it to work, for it to connect with you. But even just 5 to 10 minutes, like what we're about to do, can lower your heart rate, activate that parasympathetic response, and it can reduce perceived stress. A lot of people think that if you are already anxious or if you are already too stressed, you won't be good at yoga. It's the complete opposite. Anxious people benefit the most from it. And as an anxious person myself, it is very helpful to use what I teach in my class all throughout the day. So if you ever feel restless or you feel like I can't sink into this, this is not for me, especially with what we're about to do, that's normal. It's a learned behavior that you can take and adapt to any aspect of your life. So that puts me right at my 30 minutes. Here we go. So this is our in-class demo where we will stop and make sure I'm on the right page. All right. So when we play music, do we have the capability? I've got stuff here. I can, if I can hook it up through this, or I can just do it over here. Yeah. Let's see.
And it may, once you set up there, it may be helpful if y'all have the kind of track your heart rate. Check it before we get started, and then check it afterwards. Anyway.
I might just search it. Okay. Good. Well, fine. Oh. Wi-Fi. Never works when I need it to. Yeah. Oh, thank you. 8, 4, 3, 2, 1. This might just take me to my own. Perfect. Okay. All right. So before we get started with the in-class demonstration, did y'all have any questions before we get started? No, it's okay. Just wherever you are is good. All right. So with these, for me, I'm a little short, so I have to scoot up a little bit. But you want to make sure that your feet are flat, and you want to sit up nice and tall, hands on your legs. Okay. Now just close your eyes, or just turn your gaze down to the floor. Take a big deep breath into the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Let it go. Deep breath in. Exhale all the way out through your mouth. All right, one more big breath in. Exhale, feel your shoulders relax. And then from here, if you just want to hold your hands in your lap, or you can leave them on your legs. As you pull that air in through your nose, imagine it staying in your lungs. Both lungs are like balloons that fill completely as you inhale, and then completely deflate as you exhale. Do it once again, nice and slow. Exhale all the way. One more time, deep breath in. Exhale. And as you exhale, if you want to start making it an audible sigh as you come out of your mouth, you can do that too. So your heart rate's slow. Start to feel your body wake up a little bit. Bringing that new oxygen. And give yourself a little count. Inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. Now as you exhale, try to make it for a count of 5. Exhale out through the mouth for 5. One more time, big breath in. Exhale, let your eyes open. Refocus on the room around you. Hands are on your legs or they're just held in your lap. Inhale, bring both arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Left hand to that right knee, try to grab the back of your chair. And as you're here, you think about your spine as a corkscrew. So you're lifting and twisting. That way you don't compress anything. Inhale here. Exhale back to the front, both hands at both legs. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. Same thing, left hand, right hand to the left leg. Grabbing the back of your chair, tall spine as you twist. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, back to the front. Both hands at both legs. Very nice. All right, still sitting up nice and tall. You're going to take that right ear down to the right shoulder. You're going to think about letting your shoulders drop as you exhale. Inhale, back to the top. Exhale, left ear down to left shoulder. So you feel that stretch all through the right side. And if you ever feel like you need to increase it, you can take your right hand and just grab your chair right at the seat. That kind of keeps your shoulder down. Inhale, back to the top. Exhale, tilt the head back. We spend a lot of our time looking down at the computer screen, down at our books that we're reading out of, down at our phones. Your body really enjoys this reverse. Inhale, back to the middle. Exhale, chin down to your chest. Now for this one, you want to keep the shoulders down and back. So you're not curving your body all the way in just yet. And keeping your chest nice and open. And then as you exhale, take that head to the right, making a big circle around. You can close your eyes here if you want to. Exhale, let that chin come down to your chest. And inhale, go right back up. And just take it slow. This is at your own pace. And when it feels right to you, just reverse that circle. One more big circle. And then just bring yourself back to the center. Nice and tall. Perfect. All right, take that to left ankle. Cross it over the right knee. This is our seated forward fold. And you're going to think about flexing your foot. So you're nice and tall. There you go. You got it. You feel it already. With that foot flexed, you can press gently down with that left hand, but you don't want to press too hard and really hurt your hip. But here, keeping your back straight, as you exhale, lean forward slightly. And you lean until you feel that stretch right there in your hip, right in the glute. There you go. Inhale, come back to the top. Perfect. Exhale, bring it back down. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Inhale, back to the top. Exhale, take that left foot down. Then just straighten out both of your legs and give them a little shake, side to side. There you go. Flex point, give them a little wiggle. Bring them back under your knees when you're ready. Crossing the right over the left. Now it's hard to do in jeans. We normally do this in yoga pants, but flex that right foot. Inhale, nice and tall. Press gently down with the right hand. And exhale, start to fold over. And you're going until you feel it yourself, until you feel that stretch. Inhale, bring it back to the top. Exhale, come back down. So you're getting that slight abdominal compression. Inhale, back to the top. Exhale one more time. Nice and low. Remember to keep a little pressure with that right hand. Right foot is flexed. And inhale, come back to the top. Exhale, right foot down. Very nice. Shake it out, shake it out. Wiggle your feet around. All right, if you're not already up at the edge of your seat, go ahead and scoot up just a little bit. And you're going to keep the left foot planted. These floors are slick, so if the bottom of your soles is slick, just be a little careful with this one. You're going to straighten out the right leg and flex your foot. All right, sitting up nice and tall. Think about pulling that belly button towards your spine. That just keeps your core nice and engaged. And then you can have both hands back on the chair, or you can just keep one hand here, but you're going to start to hinge forward. And go slow. Try not to lock out that right knee too much. And just think about folding your body over. You want to feel this stretch on the back of your legs. So if you have the stability and the flexibility and you want it, you can reach down and grab the toe of your foot and pull it back. But if that's too painful, you just leave your hand where it is. Deep breath in. Exhale, nice and slow. And if you can, see if you can sink down a little farther. Each time you exhale, don't force it, just stay connected to your breath. Activates that parasympathetic response, reminds our body that we're in a state of rest. As you inhale, come back up to the top, bending that right leg. Lift your heels up a little bit. We'll stand up here in just a second and stretch, but staying on the edge of your seat, straighten out that left leg. Right foot is directly under that right knee. Flex your foot. Inhale, nice and tall. Grab onto that chair if you want it. Exhale, start to fold. Take your time, go slow. We're not in a rush. You just fold until you can feel that stretch on the back of your leg. And try to relax the top of the left. Remember, if you want that option to grab your toe, you can reach down and grab that toe. But if at any point you get numbness or tingling in those toes, back off to the next option. Deep breath in. Exhale slow. Try to sink a little bit lower. Good. Stay with your breath. Inhale, come back to the top. Exhale, both knees under both feet. Very nice. All right, we're going to go ahead and stand. And this is for if you have the space in your office or at home, you can do any of these. So standing to the right side of your chair. If you have a rolly chair in your office, just make sure it's pushed up against a wall. And you're going to take those feet about shoulder width apart. Right. You're going to take one step up, still at shoulder width. So you want to be just ahead of your chair. Perfect. There you go. I was going to say spread as much as you need. All right, turn the left toes to face into your chair. And take a small step out with the right. That's okay. We'll do both sides. But you naturally kind of turn your body this way. You want to make sure you keep it open to the front. So let's go left hand down to the chair. Your chest is still open to the front. It feels awkward at first, I know. As you inhale, right arm up and over. Perfect. Soften that knee, that left knee. Big stretch. Think about keeping your chest open. And hopefully you feel this all down your right side, down into the hip. Inhale here. Exhale, come back to the top. Very nice. Walk those feet in, shake it out. All right. Now, as you can see, there are several different variations that you can do. just off that one pose. And it's only if you want it. So with this one, I'll give some more options now that your body kind of knows what I'm about to ask it to do. So you want to be just ahead of your chair on the right side, feet a little wider than shoulder width, left toes turn towards that chair. Good. Hips stay square to the front. As you inhale, bring that left hand down, soften the knee. Exhale, right arm up and over. Perfect. Now make sure you breathe here. Your option here is to take that arm straight up overhead and look at your hand. That's one option. Second option is that you can take a half bind. And all that means is you're just tucking that right arm behind your back. And this opens up your chest a little bit more. Inhale here. Don't hold your breath. Slow exhale. One more time. Exhale. Inhale, start to bend that left knee. Exhale, stand. And bring yourself back to the top. Very nice. Shake that. So hopefully your right side feels a little stretched out now. So we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So come to the left side of your chair. Good, good. And remember, you want to stand just ahead of it, just in front of it. Feet are a little wider than shoulder width. Right toes turn towards that chair, but your hips stay squared to the front. Inhale, start to bring that right hand down. Exhale, left arm up and over. Feels awkward at first. I know. And if you want to keep a really big bend on that knee, you can. You're just keeping those toes turned to the side. You just want to feel that stretch. So even if your stretch is here, hand on the back of the chair and lean, you'll still get the same thing. It's just you make it work for you. Whichever level is easier for you. Deep breath in. Exhale, back to the top. Very nice, very nice. Shake it out. Good, good. All right, so we're going to go through the same variations that we had here. We're not going to get as intense as this guy up here, but you're back up at the top, feet wider than your shoulders. Right toes turn out. As you inhale, right hand comes down. Exhale, let that arm come up and over. Very nice. All right, now remember your options. They are strictly that, options. You can inhale, bring that arm straight up overhead and look up. Or as you exhale, you can take that final option for the bind, half bind. So you're tucking that left arm behind your back, but your chest stays nice and open. There you go. Perfect. Now remember to breathe. Deep breath in. Slow exhale. Feel that stretch on the left side. We're here for 2 more breaths, so take your time. Last one. As you inhale, start to bend to that right knee. Exhale, bring yourself up to the top. Whew, shake it out. Oh, I got way down into my hip. I don't know about y'all, but I felt that stretch a lot. So shake it out, bend those knees. Now you're going to come to the back of your chair. Office chair is the same thing, depending on what kind of chair you have. Just make sure it's up against some kind of surface. Now you're going to stand really close to the back of your chair. And you're going to take a big step back with that right foot. So we turn to the side. So you look like this. There you go. Now, as you're here, you want to keep the weight on the front leg. But you're going to plant that back heel, tall with your spine. Soften both your knees. And then think about tucking your hips under. So you're just making that tailbone point down to the earth. And you feel that stretch on your hip flexor. Inhale, right arm comes up. Nice and tall. As you exhale, you can lean back a little if you want to. We'll be here for a breath or two, so just get comfortable. Feel what feels good to your body, what feels bad to your body, and you make it work for you. Deep breath in, nice and tall. Exhale, right arm comes down. Step in. Perfect, perfect. All right, same thing on the other side. You're nice and close. You're going to big step back with that left foot. And you want to think about your feet being on train tracks. You don't want to really narrow stance. You won't have a lot of balance with that. And you'll be more worried about staying upright than the stretch. So take it wide. Back heel is planted. Tall with the spine. Soften both knees. Think about pointing that tailbone down to the earth. Inhale, left arm comes up. You're going to feel that stretch on your left hip flexor. You can even lean back a little bit if you want to. This way. There we go. Good. So when you think about tucking those hips under, that is what's going to activate the stretch on the front of your leg. So keep them tucked. Good. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, bring that hand down. Exhale, step together. All right, we're almost there. We're almost there. All right, so with the picture that I've got on the screen, you can do all of these at your office, at your own discretion, however you want. If you want a little bit of a plank action, that's fine too. But what I would recommend using it for is for that low back stretch. So it'll be this one right here. So you are going to have your chair turned around to face you. Same thing at home. Same thing at the office, not at home. All right, both feet under both hips. You're standing up nice and tall. Your shoulders are down and back. This is what we call a mountain pose. It's just standing tall. So deep breath in, stand up 1 inch taller. As you exhale, fold from your hips. Both hands come down to that seat. Now, if you get a really good stretch here, I want you to stay here. But if you're not feeling anything on the back of your legs yet, that's okay. Take 1 step back and drop your chest a little farther. So the chair is your friend. If you still don't feel enough, you can take another step back. Drop that chest down even farther. Maybe you have your hands come down to find your feet. But with any position that you're in, I want you to tuck your chin and let the crown of your head point down to the ground. This just keeps everything in proper alignment. And start to take big, deep breaths like we started class with. Inhales and exhales. Make sure each exhale goes out through the mouth. Each inhale comes in. One more big, deep breath. And as you exhale, we're going to roll our bodies up. So one vertebrae at a time. You can let go of the chair. Just roll yourself up to the top. And when you get to the top, shake that. Big shirt pants, whatever you need. And then turn that chair back around for our last few stretches. And then we'll spend the last 5 minutes or so meditating. And that way gives us 5 minutes for questions. But standing back of your chair in the office, right here. All right, you're going to grab that right foot. It's very hard in jeans. It's very hard in jeans. So if you are unable to because of your jeans, that's okay. You're just going to pull that foot up just like that. Point your toe wherever you are. Good. Now, bring your knees together if you can. There you go. And then think about tucking those hips under. So you're pointing that tailbone down to the earth. And hopefully you feel the stretch there, but it's okay. Deep breath in here, nice and tall. You can just lower your gaze to the floor, close your eyes if you're comfortable. One more deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. There you go. Right. All right, same thing on the other side. So bend that left leg, point your toe, bring your knees together, and then tuck your hips. This is the no hand option. Hand option is you grab the foot first, then you bring the knees together, then you tuck the hips under. There you go. Hopefully you feel that with how often we sit through a work day, our hip flexors can get really, really tight, along with everything, glutes, lower body, hamstrings, all that stuff. But while we're here, 2 deep breaths in. Slow exhale. One more time. Exhale, nice and slow. And release. Very nice, shake it out. All right, so that's just something quick. This I just found online that you are welcome to follow as much as you want to, but there are a ton of printable options online, and I can also find some and send them out through the wellness. That way it's just something quick you can do at your desk, but sending us out in true fashion, you're gonna come back and take a seat, and we'll do just a quick 5-minute meditation, and that'll be it. You bring this volume down just a hair more. There we go. All right, so you want to be all the way back in your chair this time. When we started class, we wanted to be a little more alert, but you want to be all the way back and comfortable. So if your comfortable is here, both hands on your legs, that's okay. But if that feels unnatural to you, you can cross your ankles, you can hold your hands in your lap, hold your hands in your sleeves because you're cold, whichever one. But go ahead and close your eyes, soften your gaze, and just pick your shoulders up, roll them down and back. Sitting up nice and tall, chin off your chest. Inhale through your nose, and then just imagine that air coming down your throat, passing by your chest, coming to your belly. And then as you exhale, it follows that same path back out. And think about the way that your body is moving as you breathe. So as you inhale, feel that abdomen rise. Let it rise as much as it can. And then exhale. Feel your body settle into the chair. And just staying at your own pace. Feel your chest and belly lift as you inhale. Hear the sound as you exhale. Heart rate slow, shoulders come out of your ears. And start to relax your feet and your hands. It's okay if they're still held together. As you exhale, relaxing each finger, each toe. Relax the palms in both hands, soles in both feet. Relax your calves. Relax the tops of your legs. Relax the tops of your arms, the insides of your arms. As you exhale again, start to relax your abdomen, relax your chest. And start to relax your back, starting down low. And then feel that relaxation crawl up your spine, curl under your shoulders, bringing them down and back. Relax your neck and your throat. Unclench your jaw and smooth your face. And just staying with your breath. Just let yourself fall into the music. Remembering that you're in a safe and secure space. And this is the time you set aside during your day to do exactly this and nothing more. Another big exhale. Let your whole body relax. The next few minutes, just let yourself be still. No responsibilities, no obligations, just you. And if you find that your thoughts are still racing, that's okay. Perfectly natural. Just inhale and bring one thought to the front of your mind. And as you exhale, let it fade. It'll still be there for you later on. Just give yourself permission to be free of it. While you're here with the music, start to let an image form in your mind. Let your imagination run with whatever it decides. Maybe you see tall mountains covered in snow, or maybe sandy beaches, the cool breeze. Hold the image in your mind. Remember that you can always return to this image, building on it each day. And it's unique to you. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe you move your hands around, uncross your feet or cross them. And then with your next exhale, gently open those eyes. Refocus. Maybe take a big stretch up, both hands. You can lean back a little if you want. And as you exhale, come back down. Drop your hands. Very nice, very nice. That's all I have. Oh, thank you for your kind attention. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I'll try to answer them as best I can.
Very nice. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
All right, so Racheal.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So we have lovely giveaways. First bag, and they're actually fun. It's I'm gonna. There we go. It's kind of hard to. All right, so to support your yoga for well-being,